Well, good afternoon, everybody. I think we're going to get started. We gave everybody a couple minutes to get started. Here we go. Today's seminar is to talk about Photo Finale 11.9 and the additions to the new software and what it can do for you. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible so you guys can get off and enjoy your weekend. And if you have questions, feel free to post them in the question sections. Rachel's going to help me out, and we'll be putting the questions to me later on. Okay, here we go. All right, so 11.9 is a major release. It's our first release really since right before the Christmas season, where we released the full mobile capabilities of the Photo Finale suite. Added in are going to be some really handy features which we think are going to drive significant revenue for you guys. And if we start really employing them now, by the time we get to the summer season, into the Mother's Day, Father's Day session, we should be comfortable with them. We should be driving some good revenue. The first thing that we offered in the new version of the 11.9 is that we are now A+ SSL security rated, which means that all sites, every single Photo Finale site with no additional charges, are now all SSL secure. And you guys may have noticed the changeover that had to happen to make this happen. If you're using a Lab 50 that was using still running on XP, you no longer can use that because the ciphers that were used on XP were not secure enough to give us the A+ ratings. This just goes to make your sites a little more secure and actually helps you with your Google ranking as well. If you ever want to test your servers, whether from Photo Finale or others, you can go to this link right here. Sorry, at SSL Labs. Where is that? SSLLabs.com/SSL test. And then you can run a test that you see I ran here on bedfordfix.com, which is one of our dealers. And you can see your A+ ratings. You can see how you're secure and what we do to make sure that your sites work appropriately and with standards. The next thing that we offered in 11.9 is something called merchandised products. Now these are products, if you remember with Photo Finale in the past, we haven't had products that didn't have photos. So all products previous to this release had required to have some sort of photo editing or photo imaging component. You can now add any products into the Photo Finale system to be able to sell. Those can be frames, they can be classes for your classrooms, portrait sittings, they can be pre-made artwork. A lot of you guys had been using Etsy to sell this type of thing in the past. So this allows you to consolidate that type of product into your Photo Finale product line. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that real quick. So if you look here, I'm going to be using silverline.pssandbox.com, which is a test site that we have to demonstrate it. So as I launch the site, it takes a second to load on these test sites, so it's a little bit slower than the production. Maybe I shouldn't be using Sandbox. What do you think? Maybe I should switch over to production. So let's go and look for frames. Okay, you can see here, what I did there is instead I switched from PS Sandbox to the normal Photo Finale. You can see I just did the search box. Now I have a product here, which is a black frame. Okay. Okay, and now notice it doesn't prompt me to add any images to it. I can just simply go in, oh, is this the frame I wanted to add? You can change the quantity and you can add that to your cart. And it very simply adds that right into your cart, just as if you were skipping the creative engine and you were just showing the merchandise product. I am actually at home today, which is why you're probably seeing a little bit of slowness in my system. So I apologize for that. Another product that you can use is classes. So if I went in here and I said, okay, I wanted to go to the Create section, and I said classes and seminars, you can actually resell your classes. So I can go Advanced iPhoneography as a class that we're selling. Somebody was like, oh, I'm interested in that, and I like to attend Friday at 3:15. You can actually add that to cart, and it'll show it there, including the session time, and that's in your cart. So these are products that you can add now to your system that do not include imaging. This could be for envelopes, it could be for frames, it could be for classes, it could be for used cameras or used lenses or whatever you'd like to sell. So that's a nice new feature of the system. The next thing we added was, and you saw a little bit of it there with classes, is product personalization options. And what this means is, we had called this attributes in the past as well. So now you can add personalization to any product in the system to have some more information for that order to come to you. This can be for products that don't have images, like glasses, or it can be for products that have images, like a 4x8 card or what have you. Some examples of how you could use that are going to be, if you look at your, I'm going to show, what's it called? Let's see, a personalized oven mitt set, for example, which is really an interesting product to use as a demo. But essentially, you can have personalized products that you can simply put characters into, and you could say, you know, Steve the cook, and that'll be the text that you're going to go ahead and burn or print right onto that product. So you can have a product that is merchandise product, meaning no imaging attached, but also some text component to it. Another way to look at use that creative product mode, personalization mode, is to go into your 4x8 cards. So let's take a look at what we did for flat cards. Okay, if I go into photo cards, I'm going to go my 4x8 flat cards. It works normal, just like I usually do use my cards. So I'm going to go through and create a card real quick. Oh, that's an empty album. Okay, one of my dolls from my daughter's room. All right, now this is another feature that we're looking at right there. I add that to cart. Okay, and then now I have a pull down where I can add an envelope or colored envelopes to this product. So that's the new feature for personalization. So you can now add envelopes, no envelope, extended envelopes, colored envelopes, or something like that to 4x8 cards. Another example of use here would be to take your 4x8 cards and add glossy or matte options. The same thing could occur for books, to change the book paper type, and so on and so forth. So personalization of products are very interesting and something new. Our first, one of our good customers has implemented this, and they did it for their Illuminized Photo product line. This is Shutterbug camera, owned by Mike Paschke in California. And we're going to take a look at what he did. I need to add a photo here. Okay. So when I do my personalized photo here and I add to cart, he now has options for a large easel with hang tags, half-inch hanging block, silver stand or standoffs, or add bamboo. So you can actually use this to support framing, to support add-ons for any type of product. So really, it's an attribute that you define yourself. That could be anything as long as you understand how to produce that product downstream. Okay, and let's take a look at how we would configure that. So if I take a look here at my lab, so if you log into my lab, you then go to Store Management and then the Product Catalog and then find your product. You would scroll down and you turn on Product Personalization. And you simply turn on Enabled. You give it the question here. Your cards come with envelopes. Please select a color. And then you could choose two types. First type is text input. The second type is a list of options. Okay, in this case we want a list of options, and then you simply just enter your options. So I can add in here also orange envelopes as an option. And that's as simple as that. And that's how you turn on product personalization for any product that you want. Again, this could be just notifications of finishing types. It can be service times availabilities. It can be really anything you'd like it to be. It's free form attributing that you can add to your products. Okay. So that's another way to go. The next thing we added was something that's been much needed, I think, in the creative browser for a long time, which is safe zones and guides. And there are two different types of safe zones and guides that we've added into the system. And what this really does is let the consumer know how the bleed is going to work in the system. So how your particular printing is going to affect that 4x8 card or that photo book or that calendar. The first thing you have is a warning style zone. All right, and that's what you're seeing here in the picture right here, where it has a dotted line, and you're saying it may be cropped, and it's kind of a subtle warning to say this is the area that may be cropped. Put all your, be aware of that. The next type you have is the danger zone style, which is a very hard warning that shows a red arrow and it makes it very clear that the customer is not going to get that part of the image on whatever their printed item is. And then the third way to implement them is to have both. You have the danger zone and the safe zone you could employ to let customers know this part will be cropped out, these parts may be cropped out, it's going to float a little bit because we don't really know how your particular printer is going to work. So the way you implement that is two ways to do it. So what that looks like from a consumer standpoint is right here. We're looking at this 4x8 card, and let me get out of my a different photo that doesn't have my proofing, my attributes, sorry. Okay, so what you're going to have here, you can see the safe zone, dotted line, and the danger zone with the text for each zone right in there. Okay, and so the way you would configure it is, in MyLab, you turn on safe zones by product, and you're going to give it a percentage for each zone, danger zone and warning zone. If you don't put anything in there, it won't have any lines. So by default, all your products have this off. When you go ahead and add it, you add each zone, it'll have it. If you change the text here to anything you want, so if you don't like the usage of warning zone or danger zone, you could say crop zone, you could say whatever you'd like to have it say. You can define your own text for that floating area. It's also handy for those people who are operating in foreign language environments, so you could translate that yourself and just put the appropriate language right in. Safe zones and danger zones are a great new feature of the Photo Finale 11.9 system, and very easy to employ. And as you see here, very easy for the customer to understand. So as I'm looking at this product, and I'd like to zoom it in, I can know exactly where my crops are going to be. So his hat, we don't want to lose any of his hat. We don't want to lose his shoe. So we can get it just about perfect. And now we can print our card. And we feel comfortable we got the best looking product out there. And you're comfortable you're not cutting off heads or losing a piece of text or what have you. Okay. The next new feature in the system is that we are pure HTML5. Now what this means is prior to the November release, we had the mobile system and we had the Silverlight system, if you recall. And it always had the URL would be bedfordpic/create/ whatever you were going to be working on. And then if you were on HTML5, it would say bedfordpics/mobile/create. Now we've elevated HTML to be the primary, so you're going to lose that /mobile. So you're no longer going to see those URLs. We should have handled that internally already for all of your linking. However, if you're linking from third-party applications, like if you have another primary website linking into this website, we should have captured it all, but you may want to recheck those links to make sure they're appropriate. So now there's no longer /mobile, it's just the pure HTML5 on every page. We don't use any other technology besides HTML5. Okay, another cool new feature we've added is the change style method, where I can just go right in while I'm working on my cards and I can change my style. And I can decide I don't like something, and I don't have to hit the back button or get lost. I don't have to quit or save or any of that stuff. I could just at any point in time try each style to see if they fit my look and feel. So that's the new change style button over here. Okay, very simple. Right. Let's go ahead and go that one. Okay, and it also works by hitting the back button. So if I were to hit here, hit the back button, it would say not too fast, your computer has unsaved changes, or you want to save it. You can say yes, and then you can go back in and change your card. So now we have so within the card workflow or any creative workflow, we now have danger zone, safety zones, and change style, which are all big requests from this year. I think very handy for the customers. We also now have direct link to styles. And this is a really handy tool for marketing, and something I think we're going to work with the IPI and PhotoSource groups, particularly to help drive marketing to make your marketing a little more effective. And what this means is we can link directly to each individual design within the system. So if you wanted to promote a particular Mother's Day card, a particular wedding card, a particular graduation card, you can actually get the exact link to that card and then post it in your marketing. So you can say, 50% off Mother's Day cards, and then put that link in your email. The customer clicks on it and will go directly to that card style. And the way that works is an example right here. And this is going to go to a sandbox site, so it's probably going to be a little bit slow. But you can see it goes right into the Celebrate design, and I'm making my card within seconds without going through all sorts of weird pages or any of that stuff. So the customer gets exactly what you're marketing right away. So that's a nice handy tool. If you don't know how to get this direct style link, there's an example in the news release that Rachel sent out, or you can just email our support team and we'll be happy to help you. Another feature we've got, which is I think you guys are going to love this one, is if you notice now on your email receipts and invoices, it shows a line item for every single 4x6 print because they're actually distinct products. Now what we do is we have a new format where we can consolidate that and put a quantity with the credits in the system. And that makes your emails a little bit shorter, makes it a little more concise. That'll automatically be available if you've downloaded the new version of Lab 50, which, by the way, you need to have if you're using any of these new functionalities. This new version of Lab 50 in my lab, please download it. But if you would like to implement this feature, it should automatically be on by default, but if you don't see it, it's because you made some customizations to your file and we didn't want to overwrite it. So you can contact us, and we'll be happy to help you with this new format if you'd like to put that in. Another feature, something that was popular in our Silverlight system that we didn't have in our Photo Finale system and in our HTML system, which is the ability to, oh, I'm in Sandbox, that's why. Let me just switch. The ability to add watermarking. Okay. Watermarking is used for professional photographers or events that want to share their photos. So if I want to go ahead and look at my my albums here, I have my albums here. Inside albums, you have settings for sharing and what the privacy options are. You now have an option for watermarking. And what that means is if you watermark an album and then you share that album to somebody else, those images cannot be downloaded. They can be printed without the watermark. So they can be ordered, they can't be downloaded, and they can't be viewed or copied and pasted from the screen without the watermark. So it's a handy tool to protect your images for events, weddings, photographers use this for sub-accounts, so on and so forth. It works very simply. You just put your watermark text in here. You can choose the size and the opacity. Change it to whatever you want. Save. Okay, and now you notice I now have a watermark. It's very faint. I didn't use it, which is darker, but you can see the watermark now in all these images. So it'll then take the watermark out when you're printing, and it won't allow people to ever copy your artwork or do whatever you want. So the way that's handled is, again, when you're in a collection, you simply hit the settings button, and you can control watermarking. In here, you can also change your privacy view, which a lot of you maybe haven't explored, and you could take a look at what your privacy views and your public views are. And then you can also get the direct link to the collection. So each one of my collections has a direct link. So this is how you share events, for example. So if you have an account called My Lab account, and then you create different albums, each event can have its own link, and then you could post that link through marketing and through email. So let's say you took pictures at a 5K race. You could then link those pictures through an article or an email. People can log in. They can't download their images, but they'll be able to print them through you. So it's a handy way to use privacy and watermarking to share collections. So that's a nice new feature that's been asked for quite a while. Another thing we've added is the subtotal, the cart showing the subtotal. And the way this works is if I'm ordering photos, let me just select all. I'm adding, once I get to my tiered, I got to get 50 plus. Where's my tier pricing? I'm only going to selected one, sorry. All right, 5x7s. You'll notice now in the cart subtotal, it'll show what discounts you're getting because of your volume. So it'll also show in red that you've hit a tiered pricing. So it'll switch from being your black to a red tiered pricing. So as the customer is hovering over an image, she can choose exactly how many to print and what they're going to get, and it reflects the discount right there. So it's a little handy option to show customers exactly how much they're saving by ordering more. Improve the layout of the add to cart dialog. Essentially what this means is when you're adding to cart and there are discounts, quantity discounts, we now reflect that to the customer. So let's be on Silverline. We're going to add to cart. And I'm going to add, it'll now show all my discounts appropriately. When I'm down here in my cart, it'll show the multi-copy discounts, the promotions, and what discounts I'm getting. So everything's reflected nicely in the cart. So just another update for the customer to help them understand exactly what they're working on. Another change we made is to the checkout section, real quick. All right. Oh, crud. Let's fill out some information. Sorry. Okay, hit that next. If I pay by credit card, is where I was trying to get to. It now shows the types of cards that you accept, and then as you're filling out a card, it'll then highlight the current one and then show your CVV in year. So just another update to make the cart a little more friendly. And this is the old cart, what it looked like, and this is just a new cart. Make it a little more, up to date, modern. In the cart, things are now sorted differently. It's not really a big deal for most people, but essentially in the cart, as you're looking at it here, it'll sort by product type. So if you have a big cart, it'll sort everything by common product type, so you don't have to scroll to find what you want. So it'll also put creative items at the top and then prints on the bottom, because generally prints are about the same. So there you go. That's another advancement, just updating the cart, making the cart more effective. We've added in an accounts page, which looks like this. So everybody has an accounts page, except for this link. Let me see here. Let me sign out. All right. When you can go, I forgot where the link to the accounts page is. Let me see, was there a link there? /account. I did a plural. So there's now an account page that you can add to every page. And the account page, essentially, when you're not signed in, allows you to track orders. If you're signed in, the account page will show you all the orders you've ever made, and then you can go in and look at your orders. You can see the status, and if it's a shipped order, it can show tracking information, so on and so forth, and you can adjust your settings for your default printing. So that's a nice new page that's on account. If you're on a PFSR or a PFM or a new enterprise system, you'll automatically get the account page. If you're not on any of those systems, just contact our support team, and we'll show you how to activate the accounts page. There's some other scripts that are available in the system now, which are very interesting. Essentially, there's a new system in place that we can work with tracking pixels, and this is if you're on an enterprise PFSR or PFM site. You can integrate with things like Facebook Pixel, which will allow you to do tracking of sales through the whole website and then publish it up and work with go further with what you're doing Facebook. Instead of just using boost marketing, you can use something called Facebook Pixel, and that's built into the system. I think that's all in all. That's the big items. There's a lot of little small items which you can read through in the release notes. We did a lot of work with the text engine to improve the text engine. We worked with how we calculate discounts and how to give priority to discounts was another one. And then we I think that's about it. And so right now I'm going to open it up to questions. If you have any questions, feel free to type them over to Rachel, and she'll notify me of any questions. I'm going to turn on my little editor here so I can see what Rachel's saying. Okay. Ooh, Rachel's got a lot of questions here. All right. Okay. How do you add products without photos to the catalog? That's a great question. I don't have Lab 50 on my home machine, otherwise I'd show you exactly. But essentially, what you do is you open up Lab 50, go to Store Management, and then go to Catalogs. And then what you would do is you do a create, you hit the New button at the top left. And if you hit the New button, you then choose a merchandise product. And then you just add in the text, add in the image, and it's as simple as that. And then once you've added the product to the catalog, you can manage it through MyLab going forward, but you do have to create it in Lab 50 right now. So inside Lab 50, go to Store Management, go to your catalog, and just hit the New button at the top left. And Rachel and I will do a small video of how to create a new product, and we'll send it out to the group next week. That's a good idea. How can I add pricing to the personalization options? A few people asked. Okay, so right now, as you saw with what Shutterbug Camera did, he's letting the customer know that the price is going to be added at the store. Right now, our attributes do not allow you to add value based on the attribute. That will be in an upcoming release. We wanted to get this attribute system out as soon as possible, so we broke it into 2 steps. The first step is to get the attributes out there. The next step will be allow you to add value to them. So for right now, all your attributes are going to be a 0. Won't actually affect the cart, but they will affect what you see in your Lab 50 as you print the product. So the good news for Shutterbug, as you're looking here, is he's not paying rev share on that extra bamboo, so because we're not logging it. The bad news is the customer is not paying until they get in the store. So, but we will have that shortly, and you can be assured that we will have that very quickly. Okay. Okay, and a note for watermarking that somebody want to know. In order to activate watermarking, you have to be logged in. It cannot be an anonymous account, because obviously if you're sharing the account, it's got to be a public account, which has got to be tied to a membership. So in order to do watermarking or privacy settings, it has to be for a member. And Rachel's telling me I went to the wrong place on the accounts page. Is there a way to add 40 quantity of a photo without having to click 40 times? That is something coming up in an upcoming release. For prints, it's easy enough. I mean, for creative items, you can do it right there. You can just type it in. What they're talking about is in the order print section. If the customer is selecting a photo, you have to hit the plus sign. Right now, there's no way to, we don't have the ability to just add in free-form text there. However, that is coming as a release that we want. In the cart, the customer can change the quantity, just not in that user interface. So in the cart, they can update the quantity very easily, just not in that user interface. They do have to hit it plus, 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 which can be quite annoying, and we are aware of that, and we'll be improving that in the short term. A question is asking, for creative products, can the icon here reflect the actual product made? For example, I ordered a 4x8 card that is not this design and not this family. It's my family. And that may or may not be confusing to customers. The answer is yes, that's going to be something that's coming very shortly. It's not available in this version right now, but it is something we're aware of, and we do have it on the roadmap. How do you add burning to USB capability on the kiosks? Okay, totally unrelated to what we're doing today, but the best way to do it, to add burning to USB, is to create a print product called digital product or USB product and have the customers choose which products they want to go there. Lab 50 will then put those images into a folder, which then you can rip to a USB. There's not a particular workflow like DVD in the kiosk today. That's kind of how you would do it right now. And we have a brand new version of the kiosk with a new user interface and a whole bunch of new bells and whistles coming down the pike that we hope to have ready for June. In that version will be a burn to USB feature. But in the short term, if you want to allow your customers to send images to a USB, you would simply add a print product called send to USB, and then they can add whatever images they want to USB, including add all. So that's the way I would do that. How do you update Lab 50? Okay, great. That's a good question. You just simply come here to MyLab, log into MyLab just like you always do, go to Software Releases, and then you'll see all of our current versions. And then you would download, hit the download button right here, and you would download the current version of Lab 50. So 9.401 is the current version, and you need to be running Windows 7 or higher, no longer supporting XP. So as simple as that for updating Lab 50. Is there ever going to be a time when Lab 50 and MyLab merge? MyLab and Lab 50 are getting closer and closer to having parity in all functionality. I would say that Lab 50 will eventually become Print 50, which is the companion product that some of you are using and some of you are not. Our intention is when we get all the catalog items and promotion items out of Lab 50 into MyLab, then we will discontinue Lab 50 altogether and move to just a Print 50 solution. So that roadmap is taking longer than we wanted because we've been working mainly on consumer-facing items, not necessarily lab-facing items, which I think is the right way to go because we're more interested in making money than having a better user interface for adding products. So, but over time, we do expect MyLab to have all the functionality of Lab 50 plus the functionality that it has that Lab 50 does not have. So over time, that will occur. Okay. All right, Rachel, are there any other questions? Somebody said, thank you for the USB. You're welcome, Paul. Real quick, if anybody hasn't seen the new Photo Finale Enterprise sites, take a look at Bedford's and Avon Moto Photo and some of the things that they're doing with our systems. They're doing some really fascinating things with how to make the site more shop-friendly and really go head-to-head with Shutterfly. And really, that at the end of the day, what these customers have determined is that they're not competing with other photo shops in the area, and they're not competing with CVS. They're really competing with Shutterfly, and their website needs to reflect that competition so that they can start driving customers from a larger region than just their retail presence. So Bedford Picks and Avon Moto Photos are two examples, and those two gentlemen were actually written up by a reporter who published an article. I think I put it up in the forums, and we also put it up on our website. If you haven't seen that article, it's a fascinating look at how they grew their business by investing a little money in their online strategy. Okay. All right. Any other questions, Rachel? If you've got any questions about the version 11.9 that aren't answered in this phone call, please feel free to reach out to your sales reps. They've both been trained on this, and they should be able to help you out. Also, our support team's there to help you if you have any issues. Are we going to be adding clip art to the book engine? Well, the book engine kind of has evolved in a fascinating way. It's getting better and better every day. I think that it's got just about every feature that I think I'd like to see it have. But let's take a look at a book, for example, and we'll talk about clip art. So one of the problems with clip art is getting the vectors right, licensing the artwork and getting it put in there. And also, generally, most clip art is not that great, to be perfectly frank. And finding a good library for that or creating that has been challenging for us. So what we've relied on, essentially, is the ability to go in and say, well, you could take this photo and you can edit it with Aviary or PicMonkey. And through Aviary and PicMonkey, there are hosts of interesting tools that you can do. So you can vignette a product, right? You could take it, you can add in clip art and stickers, as they call it here, like if you really wanted to. I myself am not a fan of this type of thing, but you could very easily add it in, and you could have clip art. if you'd like, and then you could save that and you could put that in your system. So we do support clip art to some degree. We don't support it in the non-photo portions of the book. So if somebody wanted it in a portion of the book that's a background, for example, they would have to upload a white background and then edit that in Aviary or PicMonkey, which isn't as obvious as we would like it to be. Sorry, I have to move this little tool so I can hit the button up here. Sorry. I'm going to save a new copy. I don't want to mess up that image. Okay, so that's how clip art works. You can also do interesting things like that. There's a meme generator in the Creative Cloud system, which I found really fascinating. So if you go into order prints, and I actually for this Christmas season I ordered a ton of T-shirts, and what I did on the T-shirts, get some images. I took this and I edited the photo. And my favorite feature of Adobe Creative Cloud is this meme feature. I think it's just fun. And you can say, you know, you can easily create a meme, which makes great T-shirts. And actually, if you show these to your customers, they'd probably love it. So it's an easy way to make a quick T-shirt, to make a quick 8x10, so on and so forth. Is PicMonkey going away? PicMonkey may go away if they choose to go away. So we use PicMonkey and Aviary both. Aviary is an HTML. Oh, sorry, Aviary is now called Adobe Creative Cloud. PicMonkey is Flash-based, while Creative Cloud is HTML5 based. So you'll notice PicMonkey does not work on phones or iPads or tablets because Flash is not supported on those systems. If the browsers move away from supporting Flash, which some browsers are doing, PicMonkey will not be available. If PicMonkey comes out with an HTML5 version, we will continue to support it. We love the product. We think it's fascinating, and it's fun for our customers. We see it's used a lot. But it's really up to PicMonkey to port their system from Flash to HTML5. Adobe Creative Cloud is all HTML5 now, and it is actually much faster than PicMonkey. It doesn't have the depth of the PicMonkey system, but it is a faster system and very easy to use. So if somebody's asking if there was an issue with saving from PicMonkey or Aviary, yes, that issue was a temporary issue in December due to something on the Creative Cloud end. That is now addressed, and it is saving appropriately. So there's no issues with either PicMonkey or Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, Rachel, I want to give you another minute or so for any last-minute questions. I can let everybody go. Okay, I don't see any other questions coming up here. Again, take a look at the release notes that we sent around for the 11.9. You should have got them in a newsflash from Photo Finale. If you did not get the release notes, you can go to our blog at photofinale.com if anybody hasn't been there. Or is it blog at Photo Finale? I forget exactly where it is. You can always come here to our blog, and then you can see the release notes for 11 and all the 11.x features. So if you missed something in what I was going over, or you just want a refresher, you want to send it to your staff, some of the new ideas, you can go here and take a look at what's available at 11.9. Yes, we have recorded this webinar, and we'll be sending it out and posting it to the forums, and Rachel may send a newsflash out to people who aren't part of the forums. Okay. I think that's everything. Thank you guys for your time tonight. Have a great weekend, and get using that 11.9. It's a fascinating new system, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with the attributes and the safe zones and danger zones. Thanks again. Have a great day.